Alrighty, guys, this is the March 2015 CSR world premiere. For the plaintiff, Mr. Mason, for the defense, Mr. Harold. Little colloquy, and then Mr. Harold for the defense will go into direct examination. 200 words a minute, just like the CSR.
Ready? Begin. We are back in session on People versus Kevin Baxter. Mr. Baxter is here. All counsel are here. Our jurors and our alternates are back. Mr. Harold, would you like to call your next witness, please?
Thank you. Yes, Your Honor. At this time, we will recall Officer Lopez to the witness stand.
You have been sworn earlier. State your name and spell it for the record.
Sarah Lopez, L-O-P-E-Z.
Have a seat. Please pull yourself up and speak into that microphone so we can all hear you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Harold?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for coming back in. We just had some more questions for you.
I understand. That's fine.
Excuse me, Your Honor. Could we have the witness move closer to the mic, please?
I am sorry. Is that better?
That's great. Thank you.
Okay, next question, please.
I apologize for the interruption.
Let's proceed.
We were discussing your work at the scene in the afternoon of July 31st, 2010.
Yes.
I want to talk with you now about the bedroom where you found the victim. Earlier, you testified the door was locked. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you discovered that was locked after you had already observed what appeared to you to be blood in the living room. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about the locked bedroom. What did you do with that bedroom?
Once we identified that we couldn't gain entry, then I immediately ran to my sergeant's patrol vehicle and brought back a ram to open the door.
Okay, now at this point, officer, did you know what you were dealing with at that time or at the residence?
At that point, we were concerned that there might be someone gravely injured on the other side of that door.
Why were you concerned about that?
Based on the amount of blood that we observed, as well as the drag marks on the carpet, it appeared that somebody had been drugged into the other bedroom.
You went to the patrol car and came back with an object. Then what did you do with that bedroom door?
Officer Blackwell then used that ram device to attempt to open the door.
Okay, and how did he accomplish that?
After swinging and attempting to strike the door handle, the ram actually went through the door, leaving a small hole that I could see through.
Okay, did you look through the door?
I did.
And what did you observe?
I saw a body covered with a sheet of some sort.
And so after you discovered that through the hole, what did you do?
We decided to completely ram the door, and we entered the room at that point. Once the door...
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay. The witness can only testify as to what she personally observed or did.
I can clear that up, Your Honor.
Overruled. Next question, please.
You testified earlier you gained access to the room and then discovered the victim. I forgot to ask you, and so I need to ask it now.
Okay.
Was there a call for medical assistance at that time?
We called for medical. However, once it was determined he had been dead for some time, we decided to leave the scene as we had found it.
Was the person wearing clothing?
Objection asked and answered.
Overruled.
I believe the witness testified to that scene earlier.
We don't need to rehash it now. So with that in mind, the objection is overruled.
I understand, Your Honor.
Next question, please.
Did the victim have any shoes or socks on?
I couldn't see that because he had plastic bags wrapped around his feet.
What color were these plastic bags?
White.
Did you observe if the victim had any injuries that you could see just from looking at him?
Absolutely.
What did you actually observe?
I saw what appeared to be a bullet wound to his abdomen.
Okay, at that point, did you take on a different role in the investigation?
Yes.
What did you do?
I relieved Officer Hughes, who was outside with the family.
Had there been a decision made at some point to move the family away from the residence once you started to secure the scene?
Yes.
Did you speak with the family for a brief period of time?
Yes, I did.
Were the family members kept away from the crime scene once blood was discovered and the body was discovered?
Definitely.
And at a scene such as what you responded to on that date, what was your role there?
As a first responder, our job is to assess the scene. Essentially, try to figure out what exactly is going on. We try to determine if people are in danger or whether a crime has been committed or not.
In this situation, once the door was opened and it was determined that there was a victim down on the floor, is there a different team of officers that then comes to the scene?
Yes.
Okay, and who was that?
It would be the detectives from our department.
Detective Michael Crawford, who is sitting here with me, was he one of the detectives?
Yes, he was.
As far as the investigation, once the detectives are brought to the scene, do they then oversee and take over the investigation from that point on?
Yes.
Okay, and at some point, did you ever go back into the home to look at the scene and see what was happening inside?
Not that I can recall.
Okay, did you stay outside with the family until you were relieved of your duty?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
I have nothing further.
Cross-examination.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Let me show you this exhibit. I apologize for the photo quality, but it appears to be the doorway to the bathroom off the hallway.
Yes, sir.
That is one of the 2 bathrooms in the residence.
That's correct.
This is the bathroom that's not connected to the master bedroom. Is that correct?
That's correct.
If you were to be standing in the doorway of the bathroom, you would be facing the wall in the hallway, correct?
Yes.
Now, to the right of that wall and around the corner is where the kitchen, the dining room, and so forth were located. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
We saw those exhibits earlier, correct?
That's correct.
And the back door to this residence would be around the corner to the left. Is that correct?
I am sorry, the back door?
The entrance to the residence would be, as shown in this photo. Is that how you remember it?
Yes, okay.
Let me display what's already marked as 29, directing your attention to this area right here. Are you able to see that knife on the table?
Yes.
What else do you see in that photograph?
Table has a lamp and some other items on it.
And what are the items you see depicted on the table?
I object. This is beyond the scope.
I agree with you. Do you want to make an offer of proof, Mr. Mason?
Your Honor, this goes to the discussion we had before the jury came in today. I want to follow up on that.
All right, Mr. Harold. Do you still have an objection?
Well, in that case, my objection would be asked and answered. We covered this area yesterday with the jury.
Overruled. I will allow some limited inquiry. Restate your question.
As shown in the photo, what was on the table that day?
There are a couple water bottles. I also see a paper plate with food on it.
Do you see the kitchen knife?
I see that, yes. I also mentioned the lamp previously.
Did you notice the bottles yourself when you went into the crime scene that afternoon?
I don't recall any bottles specifically.
While you were in the home, did you ever determine, by the way, how long were you inside that residence?
I honestly don't remember.
More than an hour or less than an hour?
I honestly can't remember, sir.
While you were there for whatever period of time that was, did you learn a bottle of vodka was found on that table?
No.
You did not see that?
Personally, I did not. I don't recall observing that, no.
As far as you know, no crime scene investigator placed a marker next to a bottle of alcohol that had been consumed, correct?
Not that I am aware of.
Moving to the photo of the vehicle, do you recall seeing this truck parked in the garage when you arrived on the scene that afternoon?
I don't remember that I looked into the garage for the car.
You testified earlier that you met with the victim's son, Kevin.
Yes.
And did he tell you that the truck was his vehicle?
I don't know.
Didn't you testify before that Kevin told you that the truck was his?
Objection argumentative.
Sustained.
Now, you were describing the general neighborhood as a residential tract of homes and that there was a commercial area nearby. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did that commercial area have things like drive-through restaurants?
Yes.
One of the restaurants is a Burger King, as far as you know.
Yes, it is.
Would that be a mile from the crime scene?
I would say that would be about right.
Excuse me, please, Your Honor, I just need to find one more photo.
Sure, take your time.
Officer, while I am doing that, there was a statement by you saying that you found an extra lock on the front door. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Was that a padlock that had been added by someone after the home had been built?
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained.
You observed the padlock on the main or primary entrance?
Correct.
You have no way of knowing today whether that lock was put there by the homeowner or by anyone else, correct?
That's correct.
From the exhibits you have seen in this trial, do you recall seeing there was an excess of furniture in this home?
The rooms were very crowded. The whole house looked like a warehouse.
Were there boxes stacked in various rooms?
Yes, sir.
In what rooms did you observe that?
The whole house looked more like a storage facility than a home.
You have heard about hoarders, is that correct?
Yes, I have.
Did it appear to you that the residents of the home were hoarders?
It was very crowded. I wouldn't say it was messy, just very full. I don't know anything about their personal situation. All I can say is that It was very crowded throughout the whole house.
You would agree that the residence was cluttered.
Yes, sir.
Without all the clutter, how would you describe the home as far as size?
I don't understand.
That's okay, I'll move on.
Thank you.
When you arrived, your duty was to look around for, well, first of all, you said to secure the area and to look for anything unusual or anything that might be related to the crime, correct?
Yes.
And would it be true to say that you found no evidence whatsoever of the home being ransacked?
Objection, vague and ambiguous.
Overruled. You can answer that if you understand it.
What I saw did not appear to be ransacked. No, it was just very crowded.
There weren't drawers open and things thrown on the floor, right?
Correct.
Do you understand what I mean by ransacked?
I understand the term, yes.
Okay, thank you. I am showing you what's been marked as an exhibit. Does this look familiar to you?
Yes, that is the inside of the garage.
Do you also recognize the truck that is depicted in that photo?
I recognize it from that crime scene, yes.
Had you seen that vehicle prior to that afternoon?
No, sir, not that I can remember.
Did you ever enter the garage yourself?
No.
Did you look in the doorway or poke your head around the corner to see what was happening inside?
Not that I can recall.
How do you actually know that this is the garage?
Because I was there at the moment that they were ramming the door to gain entry.
That they were what?
They were ramming the door.
Okay.
I observed them doing that.
So you were standing outside the entrance to the garage, but you didn't actually enter the garage.
No, I did not.
Did you look inside the garage in any way?
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
Sustained. Let's move on.
Were you there while the crime scene investigators were tagging and putting their little markers on the various items that they wanted to bring attention to?
I can't recall whether or not I was present. No.
Is that something that is part of your function at the scene?
No, sir, I am not part of the team that collects evidence.
Do you ever have that role at a crime scene?
No, sir, there may be occasions where I would point something out to someone for purposes of collection, but not typically.
Okay, as far as you can tell, this photo was taken inside the garage. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. When you arrived at the location, did you testify the back entrance was already open?
The gate was open.
Was there a gate or was there actually a regular door that was left open?
I believe it was a gate.
You weren't the first officer at the scene, correct?
No, sir.
There were officers there ahead of you, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever learn from any source whether or not the back door to the home was already open when the officers first arrived?
I never heard about that, no.
I have no further questions.
Redirect.
Yes, thank you. Officer, you have looked at the photographs and explained where different things are. What I am going to do is ask you to take a look at a diagram just to also assist us in understanding what these photographs show us.
Okay.
Your Honor, I have what appears to be an enlargement of a diagram of the residence.
Do you want that marked as an exhibit?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
It will be marked next in order. Is there an objection to displaying the board?
No objection, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Next question.
Even though not to scale, does it appear to be an accurate representation of the inside of this residence?
Yes.
You see the garage shown on the diagram, is that correct?
Yes, I do.
Now, is this a diagram that you prepared from your being at the scene?
No, sir, that is not something within my duties that day.
Do you know who prepared this diagram?
I could check the report, but I don't know personally.
Would it have been one of the detectives there that day?
No, sir, diagrams and things like that are typically prepared by the crime scene investigators.
Are those the same people who collect evidence and take photos?
Yes, sir, that is usually how our department handles those duties.
And to the bottom left of the diagram, there is a patio gate. Is that the white gate you were just asked about that appeared to be open when you arrived?
Yes, it is.
Now, just to the right of the patio, there is a blue line. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
What does that represent, if you know?
It is the window to the kitchen.
Okay. Above that, there appears to be a brown dotted line. Do you see that?
Correct.
Does that depict the entrance to the kitchen?
Yes, that's correct.
Is that the doorway you entered when you arrived that afternoon?
Yes, that's correct.
And then you made your way throughout the residence as you were securing the scene. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Do you recognize the bedrooms and the bathrooms on the diagram?
Yes, sir. There are 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms.
And is that how you remember the scene that afternoon?
I believe the diagram accurately depicts the scene.
And where I have just pointed for the jury, is that the bedroom where you discovered the body?
That is the same bedroom, yes.
Do you remember if there was bedroom furniture in that room when you arrived?
There was no bed in that room. It appeared to be used for an office instead of a bedroom for sleeping.
But that is the room that had the bathroom connected, is that correct?
Yes, it was the master bedroom of the home, but it appeared to be used as an office.
So just to give us the layout, does looking at this diagram accurately reflect the major parts of the residence that day?
Objection asked and answered.
She has already testified to that. Sustained.
And then finally, I wanted to ask you just about your role as a responding officer. Is it part of your job to first secure the scene
Yes,
and to see if there was a crime?
yes,
And if anybody needs help, that is your job.
yes,
In this particular investigation, are you there to assist the detectives once they all arrive?
if they need assistance, yes.
In this case, were you involved in collecting any of the evidence?
No,
Okay, everything you have told us today, are those your observations that you made when you went into the home?
yes,
Okay, and once you secured the scene, saw the victim, and then exited, was your job done inside?
yes, it was.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
I have nothing further.
Do you have any recross?
No, I don't.
May this witness step down and be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
thank you.